This is Prepping by Faith, and today I wanted to talk to you about diving in the deep end. And what I mean by that is just jumping in and trying new things and kind of taking yourself out of your normal comfort zone to really accomplish those things that you want to with your life. And in a moment, I'm going to share something with you that I have done recently that I was actually really glad that I went ahead and did. And I'm never going to ask you guys to do things that I'm not willing to do myself. So I want to set the record straight there. I don't believe in telling you guys to do certain things with prepping or get involved with certain things if I'm not willing to put myself out there and do them as well. But I just really want to encourage you guys today. The only person that can hold you back from doing anything that you want to do is yourself. So getting into that mindset of being willing to step out and try new things, learn new skills, you're the one who's going to get in your way. You can be your biggest advocate or you can be your biggest roadblock. So you need to remember that and get yourself in the right headspace to be able to tackle the things that are coming. And I do feel like there are a lot of things that we're seeing unfold before us that are going to cause us all to be placed in certain situations where we are going to need our mental fortitude, we're going to need our skills. Yes, we're going to need our preps, but we're really going to need our mental fortitude and our skills above all of those things. So I think skill building and stepping out and trying new things is going to be really critical going forward. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is that I have completed a course through American Red Cross, and it was their blended learning first aid, CPR, and AED training. And what that was is I had to take a course online, so I had to sit through probably about I would say about 4 hours worth of training online, and then I met with them in person and completed that course in person so that I could get some of that hands-on experience with the CPR practice and those necessary skills that I feel like are very important. So if you guys haven't brushed up on any medical training in a while, or you've just never taken one of these classes to begin with, I really want to encourage you to step out there and do that. There is another course after this one that I'm going to be checking into that I want to take, and that course is it's a basic life support course, so it's the next step up from this one. And I have to really step outside of my comfort zone with these things because I remember back when I was a kid and I was babysitting, I did take a CPR course, but I never got any additional training. So this course also went over some of that first aid. It talked about tourniquets. It talked about stopping the bleed and those sorts of things, which is also really important. But what many of you don't know is that that is actually an area that I really struggle with, and it's not something that I have much control over. It's something that I've dealt with since I was a child. I just have a trauma when it comes to blood, and so I instantly, my body's response is to shut down, and I start to go into a mode where I nearly pass out. So I will start to, like, my hearing will start to go, I will start to feel dizzy, I will start to feel clammy, and so I have to really get a hold of myself in these situations, and I'm really having to force myself to face this. I want to say it's a fear because it is a fear, and I'm trying to take authority over it. And as a Christian, I do have some steps that I did, and while I was going through this course and I was having those responses in my body, I was taking authority over that spirit of fear, and I was quoting that scripture in Timothy 1-7. I believe it's 2 Timothy 1-7, and I was quoting that scripture. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And I had to repeat that verse over and over until I could get control of myself in this situation. But I want to encourage you guys to go ahead and step out and do things that you don't think that you can do, because I'm here to tell you that you can do them. You can do these things, you can get a hold of yourself, and you can force yourself. And I think we're getting to that point where we're going to have to step outside of our natural comfort zones and start learning some of these things. And even if you struggle in those areas like I do, you can still overcome it. You just have to baby step yourself through that process. And I'm going to keep doing that because I want to be able to tackle these sorts of things, and I don't want to feel any sort of fear response and not be able to move or act in a situation that I need to, because I need to do that. And one of the other things is we need to start holding ourselves accountable, that we are in charge of what we choose to do, what we choose to meditate on, what we choose to allow ourselves to get out of. We can get complacent, and we really need to start holding ourselves accountable for the choices that we make and the decisions that we make, because we are the ones in charge of those decisions and making those choices. So we need to understand that, you know, if we're not going to do certain things, a lot of times it's just because of poor choice making on our part, right? We all can extend the effort, we all can put time in, we all can put our dedication where it belongs. If we really think that something is important, or we think that it's worth the money or the risk or whatever it is, we are, at the end of the day, the ones making those choices. So we need to stop giving ourselves an out and giving ourselves an excuse as to why we can't do certain things, right? Now, I understand that there are certain physical limitations and other things that can inhibit people from being able to do certain things, and I'm not talking that direction. I'm just saying from a standpoint of holding ourselves accountable for what our choices that we make. We know that certain things that we do are going to have consequences. So just being adult enough to recognize that and really step out and start doing some of these things, because I think they're important. And I'm really excited to be certified in this for 2 years. And the other thing I wanted to mention real quick about that American Red Cross course is that there should be plenty of those in your area. All you have to do is do a quick search on their website. You can find out they have just in-person courses. They have the blending learning where they have the virtual and in-person, and they do have just the virtual. Now, I would encourage you to, at a minimum, do the blended learning so you are getting some of that hands-on experience, because I think it's really important to get that hands-on experience and not just do a virtual course, because while we can visualize what some of those things might be like in our minds, actually getting our hands on those things, I'm telling you, when you go to do that CPR, it takes a lot more strength than you realize, and just in a couple minutes you are going to need to know exactly what you're doing, and it's going to take a lot of energy. And so that notion of getting ourselves, you know, physically able to handle those sorts of things, I think is really important, because in a situation like that, it expends a lot of energy. And I wanted to mention that while I was in this course, there was an entire family that had showed up for it as well. And the reason they were there is because the mother had actually choked on a piece of steak, and they were in a public place. So there was somebody who was CPR trained near them and was able to rescue her and save her life. But none of her family members knew how to handle that situation. So I think that level of training is really important, so that if we are in a situation, even in our immediate family, in our household, we have that ability to help them out, and we're not paralyzed with not knowing what to do. And we, you know, because sometimes it's going to be too late by the time they get there. So there are situations where you need to be able to respond. You need to be that first responder and react appropriately in that situation to save someone's life, including a family member. So I just wanted to share this with you today. I'm really excited about this, and I want to get you guys encouraged and motivated to step out and try new things. Get yourself some training and really get serious about the things that are coming and continuing to prepare. If you guys have enjoyed this video today, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And remember to pray, prep, and put God first. God bless.